Many fathers aren't necessarily aware of the kind of impact, the kind of influence they can have on their daughter.
The truth is, we are watching how our fathers move. What should a father teach his daughter about the kind of love she deserves?
Does he treat you as a queen? Does he respect you? Does he hold you in high regard? Does he allow you to be you?
If you knew you only had one conversation left with your daughter, what would you want her to know?
I would want her to know that she is enough, that she is special, and that I will always back her, no matter what. In a world that's so full of noise, we believe one of the most powerful things you can do is have a real conversation.
For a father and daughter duo, 2 generations, 1 journey, exploring what it looks like to live life with a purpose, love deeply, and heal loudly.
Now, this space is raw, it's honest, and sometimes it's uncomfortable, but always is rooted in reality.
So if you're tired of surface level talk and you are hungry for something real, welcome. You are not alone.
This is Ignore My Rambles.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Ignore My Rambles. Dad, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Well, feeling good. It's a bit cold, but I'm fine. I'm alive.
You're alive,
Yeah.
Okay. I'm happy to hear that. So this episode is actually a very special episode. It is called The Conversations We Never Had in honor of Women's Month. And so the whole purpose around this was we opened up a form and gave a woman a platform to submit questions that they would have wanted to ask a present father, or father figure. And so we got quite a number of responses. Thank you so much for your vulnerability. A woman out there, it's appreciated. And happy Women's Month. Happy Women's Month.
Yes, happy.
Okay.
Great, yeah.
Yeah, but let's get started. I will be reading out the questions. And instead of doing ramble roulette, we will just be bouncing off each other, rambling, talking. And Pops will be answering your questions today. So, yeah, they're quite deep. They're quite intense. Get ready, prepare. Let's jump into this. All right. So, first question. Why do you automatically reject your daughter or turn your affection to another daughter once she falls pregnant, young, or out of wedlock? That's question number 1. You see how see how deep these
quite deep. And of course, when we respond, we don't have the full context to what it's about. So we're gonna respond based on, kind of what we see from
the outside.
From the outside.
Yes.
But obviously, it might have more deeper.
It might be more nuanced.
Exactly. As we see. But just read the question out again for me.
Okay. Why do you automatically reject your daughter or turn your affection to another daughter once she falls pregnant young or out of wedlock?
I don't think it happens to everybody, all right?
Yeah.
That there's always rejection. But certainly there are cases where that's happened. And I think many times what happens is sometimes the rejection comes as a result of disappointment from the parent. Disappointment because they probably had certain dreams and ideals that they wanted the child to achieve. And then, when the child falls pregnant, etc., it feels like those dreams are dashed.
Yeah.
And some of those may simply be, sometimes it's maybe mistakes the parents themselves have made.
Oh, okay. Do you think that sometimes it might be, sorry to interrupt, it might be worse when the parent themselves also made the mistake? Or
Yes. Sometimes then it's even worse in terms of the reaction.
So now your standards for your children much higher than...
Yes. Sometimes it's also a reflection. Sometimes what happens is a reflection of the parent feels like they failed.
Oh,
You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So a lot of times the rejection is not really, it's not the fault of the child. Okay? The child has made a mistake, right? But the rejection many times is because of, the parents' own insecurities, the parents' own unrealistic expectations.
Okay.
Sometimes the parent feels embarrassed, what are people going to say? What's family going to say? What's society going to say? What people going to think? You get what I'm saying? So a lot of times rejection is actually a reflection of the parent's insecurities, the parent's failures, rather than the child. Yes, it's a mistake.
Yeah.
And she may have made a mistake.
Yeah.
And I hope, whoever sent the question, I hope you don't end up feeling small or discouraged because of it. Parents are human beings and they do make mistakes. And sometimes it takes a while for them to get over that disappointment or what have you.
Yeah.
Of course, it's sad that they reject, one gets rejected because really you shouldn't reject it. You are human, you make mistakes, just like parents make mistakes.
Yeah.
And likewise, even the responses are also parents making mistakes in how they respond.
How they respond to you based on the situation. This is going to be very difficult to answer, but just for this person that sent through this question, Dad, how do you think, like, if their father never comes around and never accepts it, how do you think she can start rebuilding herself and even just sitting with that, the reality that your parent might not come around, they might not accept this thing that's happened.
Which may definitely happen. I think the important thing is for that person to accept, first of all, that she's human. She makes mistakes like everybody.
Yeah.
And the rejection doesn't mean there's something wrong with her.
Yes.
She is still enough.
Yeah.
Right? She is still enough.
Pure enough.
Yeah. So don't allow that rejection to taint your future, etc. You've got to just say, well, look, I made a mistake, but I am here. And I am going to continue to pursue my life, my future with the same passion,
zeal and perseverance
and purpose.
Yeah.
And if you need friends, that need to support you, do that.
Community, find other community that you can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And many times, even in our families, there will be that uncle, there will be that aunt, and so on, that will encourage you. And it's good to try and see if you can get that kind of encouragement
from them as well.
Yeah. Worst case, if it's something that really holds you back, go and see a counselor. Go and see
see a professionals. To start working through this. Also, just inviting those who have sent, these were anonymous, but our email is ignoreMyRambles@gmail.com. The whole purpose of us having this platform is so that we can engage with you, so that we can empower you and encourage you. And that's why we're even doing just the conversations we never had. So please, if you want to ever just discuss it or unpack it, feel free to send, us an email, share it with Pops, and to get that encouragement and find that kind of community.
Exactly.
But thank you so much for that response. There is what you were saying about getting up after making a mistake and living your life. Yes, of course, the getting up process takes a lot of time, and sometimes you have to heave through corrupted lungs to get yourself through the day. That's what I always say, heave through corrupted lungs is from one of my favorite songs. But there is a tweet which says, it doesn't matter how many years you lost, save the rest of your life. I can't remember who, it's a random tweet, but I have folders on my phone which say, save the rest of your life.
I like that.
It's all encouragement, it's all empowerment, it's all small things to just save that. It doesn't matter how many years you lost. And this is to you who sent this. It doesn't matter how many years you lost. Save the rest of your life.
It is never too late to, start afresh.
Yeah.
Never too late.
We're going to restart as many times as we need to.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. Question number 2. Why do you feel the need to not be faithful?
Okay, again, I'm not sure about the context of that one.
But, of course, men not being faithful.
Yes.
Husbands, fathers.
Yes. I think there are many reasons for unfaithfulness.
Okay.
Right? It could be, sometimes people are weak, right? Weak. Constant eyes for the
struggling with lust.
So the struggling with lust, etc. In the world today, there's so much pornography and so forth. And you can imagine if that's what you're consuming all the time, guess what's going to happen?
You're
It's not going to be unfaithful. You'll never be satisfied at home, etc., etc. So there are things like that. Sometimes people look out because of a lack of connection at home.
okay.
Right? There might be a lack of emotional connection. There might be unresolved conflict. There might be issues that they're having at home. And the consequence then is to look outside, and in the end, you're in trouble. You're unfaithful. Other reasons I think for unfaithfulness is societal pressure. Right?
Okay.
There is a thing in society which kind of says, oh, every man, all men are unfaithful.
Yeah.
Now, that's not true.
Cheat.
Okay? That's not true. Right? And sometimes men think, to be a man,
I must cheat.
I must be unfaithful.
Yeah.
And then they boast to other men, oh, by the way.
My side ting. You call them a side ting, side chick.
Okay.
I'm saying ting, but it's a side chick.
Yeah.
You've heard that term?
Yes, I have.
Ne?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's ego, there's societal pressure, goals, it's all these kinds of things. And then sometimes people just careless and fall into it by mistake. Right?
Yeah. Quote unquote mistake, because you didn't draw the boundaries that you should have drawn, especially if you know you lack discipline in this area and you battle with lust.
Yes.
You don't have the accountability in your life.
Exactly.
Exactly. Your community maybe even encourages that behavior. And so you're like, actually.
Yeah. And I like you mentioned the word accountability.
Yeah.
Sometimes how we protect ourselves is making sure we are accountable. So if you've got good accountability relationships, they help you. I used to have a one-on-one with a friend of mine. He would ask me the question, Siwa, how is your thought life?
Ooh.
Okay, so he challenged me that way. And sometimes you do those kinds of things to help you stay, in the straight and narrow.
I hear that. It's a tough one, especially when you find out that your father has been, unfaithful to your mom.
Yeah.
And then having to also heal through that and find a way. I remember a person I once knew, or we were kind of friends back in the day, but she would always share with me about her dad being unfaithful, but him still being able to be a good father, but he's not a good husband to the wife. To the wife. And it was very difficult to obviously even sit with those things. Like, you show me you love me, you show me you care and you're present, but you're treating my mom like, So that was a very thing. It was very difficult for those things to coexist. But she would always say, like, my dad has been a good dad to me.
Okay.
But as a husband,
It's been great.
Yeah. That came across my mind right now with this question. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Can those two things coexist in your...
Again, but I always think one of the best gifts we can give to our children as parents is how we love each other.
That's the thing.
As a husband and wife.
That's the thing, right?
In fact, that tends to bring a sense of stability in
a home.
A sense of security in the home when the kids can see, wow, our parents love each other, they care for each other, And remember, many times the way how we grow up, how we view ourselves and so forth is modeled around what we see in our parents.
That's the thing. So
critical.
It's quite difficult then to even separate the two.
It is
right, because what are we seeing versus
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it is possible. Sometimes I think what a parent might be doing is trying to compensate, right? So to compensate for their inability to relate properly to the wife, and then they try and pour all that into the
child,
the daughter. There might be that as well. So I would say it is possible. Right, it is possible, but not ideal.
Not ideal, because the truth is, we are watching how our fathers move.
Yes.
We are watching, and that also models, like, one of the questions is around this, or maybe the next question that we go into is like the type of love. And I'm going to join it with their two questions. So, one, as a woman, how do we love ourselves and not tie our self-worth around duties of being a mom, wife, daughter, sister, career woman? How do we manage this very hard, like, self-critique in our minds? Right. So that's one of those questions. Then the second one would be, what should a father teach his daughter about the kind of love that she deserves.
Yeah.
So the reason why I tried to couple those two questions is because I feel like part of the self-love chat and what we just spoke about, looking at our parents, looking at our father figures, we are now learning what it is that we deserve through, how you relate to your wife or how you relate to your wife. So I don't know, what do you want to say to the first? What would your thoughts be around the first one? I know you had asked me to chime in here with, as a woman, how do we love ourselves and not tie our self-worth around duties of being a mom, wife, daughter, sister, and career woman?
Yeah.
How do we manage this very hard self-critique in our mind?
I don't think it's always as easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's easier said than done. By the way, flagging. We're just giving our opinions, what we think, but everything is easier said than done.
And if you think of what we've talked about previously in previous episodes, what you do want to do is to avoid tying your self-worth to external expectations. So you want it to be linked to what people expect of you, to what society expects of you. Roles,
duties, building your identity around
exactly
what you think you should be or who people think you should be.
Because remembering also society changes, right?
Yeah.
So things are dynamic. So there was a time in the past when, every woman would be expected to be in the kitchen, should be expected to, there were all those kinds of roles. In those days, women didn't work like they do now. Now, so things have changed.
Yeah.
And so if you are a woman who thinks that, look, if for me to be a woman, I need to be able to
XYZ,
do XYZ, then you will have such a low self-esteem.
Yeah.
Okay. Or low it's dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
So it shouldn't be linked to, what society is saying, etc., etc. You really have to kind of look at who am I and accept who I am and try and link the self-worth to that.
Yeah.
I think if you go back to some of those episodes we
Yes, our most recent episode, by the way, please go watch it. We unpacked the second half of self-worth and identity. And it's called Take Your Power Back.
Yes.
So we just dropped that on the 6th of August. Please go back, watch that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I think a lot of the work that I had to do with professionals was in, number one, reparenting myself, because all parents make mistakes.
Exactly.
All of us have these gaps, and so I had to learn how to reparent myself in certain aspects. But I also had to learn to rebuild my identity around things that don't fly off and, wither away and, things that aren't temporary.
Exactly.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard because a lot of the times I've also been there where I tie my identity to my career.
Yeah.
That for me was a big thing. The money I make, how I'm building a life for myself. I want to be this.
Yeah.
But when all of that is gone, then who am I? And we discussed that in that episode. All right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for your question. Second question, what should a father teach his daughter about the kind of love she deserves?
I think, a couple of things. I think, for my daughter or for
me,
you, for instance.
Yes.
I would.
I've never asked you this question.
No, you haven't.
So that's quite interesting. Yeah, I'm learning here as well.
Yeah. So for me, if you're looking for a guy or whatever it is, I would want him. These are some of the measures I would want to assess him on.
Okay.
Does he treat you as a queen?
Okay.
Does he respect you?
Yeah.
Does he hold you in high regard? Does he allow you to be you? To pursue your dreams, your visions, your passions? Does he allow you to grow, to be yourself, to make mistakes as well? Does he support you? Is he somebody who's going to come alongside you and grow together with you? Will he sacrifice for you? Give consideration to your needs and your wants and your desires. Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I think. And I'm saying those because you deserve that.
Yeah.
As a woman.
Yeah.
Okay. Society may have I think society is lagging behind, but it's catching up now.
Yeah.
People are beginning to recognize the world is not made for men. It's made for women also. We need women. And for us to live in true abundance, we need our women to also...
there needs to be room, space.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think those are some of the things I would say I want,
And for any woman, yeah.
and for any woman.
Yeah. I like what you pointed out about consideration.
Yes.
And does he want the best for me?
For you. Exactly.
Like, do my needs matter to you?
Yeah.
Does my growth even matter to you?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard of couples where, the guy has a fancy car and he won't even allow his wife to drive the car. It's like the car is more important than you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I kind of think,
what's going on?
Yes, because a good relationship, he must prioritize your needs.
Yeah.
And your wants too.
Yeah.
And be prepared to sacrifice some of what he wants for yourself.
In order to... Yeah. Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
I hear that. I'm going to ask the reverse of this question. What things should a woman, in your opinion, a daughter, just completely avoid when it comes to... And I don't even want to use the term red flags because I feel like we just use it so much. There's amber flags, there's reds, but what things are absolute...
I would say...
Stay away from that.
Look.
Run.
If he puts you down, okay? If he puts you down, if he ignores your desires, if he doesn't listen to you, doesn't accept your opinions, he thinks what he says is what goes all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You want, in any relationship you're in, it must be one where there's mutual growth. There is true companionship.
Okay.
So if you're in a relationship where you're constantly feeling down, every time with that person you leave feeling depleted and drained, that's a no-no.
My goodness.
That's a no-no.
And most of these fish be feeling like that. Most of these fish, they be draining as hell.
And then, of course, and I would say, you don't want... where somebody's always comparing you with others. My ex-girlfriend used to do this. Nonsense.
Go be with her.
Exactly.
Go be with her.
You want someone that's going to, first of all, going to accept you for who you are. It's not saying that you're not going to change. It's not saying that you don't adapt and grow. No, we do adapt and grow. But you want a relationship where you are accepted for who you are.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You didn't start that relationship on the basis of what you are going to become.
Ooh.
It was on the basis of
who you are. So avoiding the whole potential.
Yes. And then you want to grow together.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we're all adapting, we're all changing. And good friendships, etc. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Iron sharpens iron. We grow together.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing you want.
Okay. Thank you for that. Next question. So this is quite long.
Okay.
My parents got divorced when I was 16 due to him wanting a second wife. He pays maintenance for me and my younger sister. So he soon stopped coming around to see us after some time and eventually had 3 small boys of his own. We chat here and there, but I lack that closeness I had with him before the divorce. I don't feel like I can rely on him emotionally anymore. The question I have is whether or not my sister and I were enough. I do feel a bit abandoned, though I am an adult. I don't fully know the full story behind the divorce. Nor am I interested in what is going to change.
Yeah.
But it's still a sore spot.
Yeah. I mean, the basic answer to the question is you are enough. Okay. I think the reality with relationships and so on, I mean, there's a myriad of reasons as to why perhaps he's no longer as close.
Why
sometimes
it might trigger something in him.
Yes.
So he feels do you think it could be like a shame
It could
response maybe, or like a...
It could be.
Yeah.
Could be. I mean, he might have been the cause of the divorce. I don't know. Sometimes it's a question of embarrassment. So when he sees you, he's a bit embarrassed as to what has happened.
Yeah.
The fact that you're not as close. Remember, he's also got all these other new kids as well, the block. Sometimes you just don't know how to engage and how to relate. And I would say, it's not a bad idea
True.
invite him for coffee. Have a chat with him. Tell him how you feel.
But I'm gonna challenge that, because in this case it feels like he abandoned. Like he's the one. So then when it feels like someone's drawing away from you, you feel like you're chasing them when you're like,
But what I'm saying is you don't know why he's
caused the distance. Okay.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You do have the opportunity to
And the
have a
courage.
conversation and the courage and
Yeah, I mean, he might not even be aware of how the relationship has changed, right?
okay.
Remember, too, that he's got all these 3 kids, etc. So time becomes a factor, okay? There's different priorities.
Yeah.
All those things become factors.
Yeah.
But sometimes really just, if you got the courage, ask him,
Yeah.
and tell him, look, you were closer to me. Now I've seen
what's happened
since the divorce, what's gone wrong? Why are you... And you might be pleasantly surprised that when that's brought to his attention, he might sometimes, he might also already be feeling that because he divorced the mother, you don't like it.
Again, these things are always so nuanced.
They're
so always so much
nuanced,
yeah. So
and the problem is most times we draw our own conclusions.
And that's where
and many times those conclusions are not quite correct.
Fair.
Yeah. So he might be feeling bad about what he's done. He might be feeling guilty and so on. And so he kind of pulls away.
Yeah.
He thinks, my daughter must hate me. My daughter must think I'm a horrible husband, a horrible man, etc. And so then he avoids. And then the relationship becomes a very superficial one. You kind of say, hi, but you never really get, no deep conversation.
Yeah, there's no closure. There's no...
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no emotional...
Yeah. But it's tough. It's tough.
It's tough. I'm sorry that you've...
Yes.
And those feelings of abandonment are...
Yes.
Honestly, some of the hardest feelings too.
Yes. In fact, one of the things I find really sad is that many times when things like that happen, the kids or the children feel like they're to blame.
Yes, it's like kids, a lot of kids, I'm going to speak for myself, but just suffer the consequences of their parents or fathers. In this case, we're talking about fathers.
Yeah.
Absence.
Yeah.
Or even half presence, or lack of effort and attention. And,
So please, you are enough.
Yeah.
You are enough.
You will always.
You will always be enough.
Yeah.
And don't allow the change in the relationship or the distance with your father make you feel that you are not enough. You are enough.
Sure.
And like I said, sometimes maybe have the courage to reach out and you may be
pleasantly surprised. Fair enough. And next question. How do I know when a man genuinely loves me versus when he simply just enjoys having?
I think the thing is, what does he do for you? Rather than, because if he just wants you in his life, then he's making you fit into all the, the specific things he wants.
Yeah.
Does he sacrifice for you? Does he consider your needs? Does he consider your wants? Does he consider your desires? Or is it all about him? Okay. And I think that's kind of the good test there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And we also kind of covered that in the love that you deserve.
Yeah.
Do fathers realize how much their presence or absence shapes the way their daughters see themselves and the relationships they choose?
I don't think they always realize it. Okay.
Like how deep?
So I think many times as fathers, we parent based on what was modeled to us by our own parents.
Okay.
Right? And I think when I go back, almost, I could be wrong here, but I think many times you sometimes have fathers kind of expecting, look, the mother is one who deals with the daughter, and any kind of deep daughter issues is for mommy to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think many times many fathers aren't necessarily aware of the kind of impact, the kind of influence they can have on their daughters.
Yeah.
They're not even aware that sometimes the choices that the daughter is going to make is based on the kind of parent that they are, the kind of man that they are.
Yeah.
And so when they become more aware, I think, it results in a bit more responsibility on the part of the father. If only we spent a little bit more time. I mean, you and I, for instance, I feel like much earlier on, I didn't realize, I don't think we connected.
Yeah, like we do now.
Like we do now.
Yeah.
and it wasn't because of any, any conscious thought that, you know what I'm saying. But later on, maybe it's a credit issue as well, because you're somebody who likes to
connect.
connect.
Yeah.
On,
Yeah.
But later on is when I see, wow, there is so much benefit in having that interaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's so much, as a father who can impart to a daughter, and that will help guide her in terms of her decision making, especially when it comes to relationships. So,
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that I think many fathers and daughters aren't as close. Maybe it's how we've grown up, maybe it's society, but I think the time for change is now.
Because now
to make that a lot more intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. To wrap this up, I've actually got 2 last questions.
Okay.
One is going to be tricky, and it's a curveball. This is from me now.
What?
What has been the toughest part of parenting me
Parenting?
Me, Anesu, as your daughter.
Toughest part of parenting you?
Yes, me specifically.
Well, I think it might be in cases where perhaps you don't quite agree with perhaps maybe advice or
From you.
Yes, from me.
So where I butt heads with you, like, actually, no. And you'll even see it at this podcast where I was like, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
So has that been the toughest?
I think so. I mean, I'm just trying to remember. I remember maybe a few years ago when you were battling with
depression.
No,
Turning up, partying.
No, I don't know the partying. I don't know it was a time when you had so many questions. So many questions in life, and I think you were even spiritually.
Yes, like just.
And I remember you and I had gone for one of these trail runs or trail walks, and we had this conversation, and I just felt I wasn't getting through to you.
It wasn't landing for me.
It wasn't landing, and so on, and I think I found that kind of hard.
Yeah.
But generally, I think I found that you normally will listen to me. You could challenge, but you will listen.
Eventually, yeah. I'll come around.
And eventually say, oh yeah, Dad, you were right, actually.
Maybe. Yeah, like if you're...
but I don't think I've necessarily had any really difficult parenting issues with you. It doesn't mean that you've done everything I would love you to do.
Yeah, no, I've had my phases. I've had my times. We've had our... because we're very human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
As much as like even this relationship, I got one question during the week from WhatsApp, nothing to do with the conversations we never had, but a question from a friend who watched one of the episodes and said, I love the relationship you have with your dad. Like, how did you guys, how do you have this, It's work. It's work as well.
Yeah.
It's cultivated. I had to go to I've been in therapy for over 10 years, I had to battle through my own things, my own questions, but it's also been a lot of work and a lot of, I'm grateful for you.
Yes.
And I'm grateful for the time, the effort and energy you've chosen to pour into me, but not only me, to everyone. You are that, like on Father's Day, we were doing speeches and you are that dad for everyone. You are present for people that aren't even your kids. You have really shown up. And I think when I say it's work, it's like, it takes the showing up and I'm also blessed to have, a father that is willing to even have these type of conversations and be vulnerable and,
And I think one of the key things that you've mentioned it right now, it's the willingness to be vulnerable.
Yes.
I think you and I are quite close because you are willing to be vulnerable.
Yes.
And I am willing to be vulnerable. So when we engage, I can share about some of the challenges that I've had, etc.
Yeah.
And being vulnerable with each other allows you to actually become more close.
Building that.
It allows you to be real, and you can build together. Rather than being superficial and that kind of thing.
All right. Final question for this episode. If you knew you only had one conversation left with your daughter, what would you want her to know?
I would want her to know that she is enough. I would want her to know that she is special.
Mm-hmm.
I would want her to know that she has a very unique place in my heart. and that I will always back her no matter what.
Okay. Yeah, that kind of wraps up the episode. I don't know if you have any. Our 10-second truths. We always like to wrap it up with the 10-second truth. And we know this episode structure has been quite different. But maybe I don't know.
Look, I think maybe one truth. Obviously, these are questions that people have had about conversations they wish they had or never had.
Yeah.
But perhaps I'll go back to my very last response.
Yeah.
Because many times, because we haven't had those conversations, we feel like we have missed out something in life. Some feel we are, you're no longer enough. Some feel rejected, etc. I just want to state that, yes, the past is the past. Do not let the past influence your future. Yes, we learn from the past, but don't be a prisoner of the past. Okay. Remember, you are the fact that you have breath in your lungs. You are alive, you are living. There's an opportunity for you to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And that's really I want to encourage you. You are enough.
Yeah.
And yes, look for mentors, look for uncles and people that can play that father role in your life. I think it's good to have a father figure in your life. And I believe that there will probably be people out there that will be able to do that for you. Yeah. So be encouraged, be positive. You got a great future ahead of you.
I love that.
And remember, I always say, in the Bible, God talks about the fact that can't remember the phrase, but where he talks about he's the husband to the
father to the fatherless,
and the father to the fatherless, and the husband to the widow, etc.
Yeah.
That's the kind of God he is. So he also cares deeply for you as an individual.
Okay, thank you for that. I think my 10-second truth. I know you've been really answering most of the questions for this episode, but I guess I like the part where we said, you can rebuild and you can restart.
Exactly.
And sometimes you have to take a shovel, bro, and put on gumboots and dig yourself, take yourself out of these tough seasons.
Yeah.
But you can always rebuild. You can always restart. And again, I'm inviting you guys, please send us emails.
Please.
Pops will answer. If you've got other questions, he will answer. We will, bring it up if you have topics you want us to discuss.
Yes.
ignoreMyRambles@gmail.com. Follow us on the socials. And we can't wait to catch you next time. Thank you so much for your vulnerability. And
See you soon. Thanks so much, guys. See you soon. Bye.